Madison and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a brand new weekly reading vlog for you. So I'm so excited for this weekly reading vlog. So I'm starting it off with a book that I have been waiting for all year, and that is Anastasia by Sophie Lark. It is like 800 pages. This is an 800-page historical fantasy romance book, you know, loosely based on Anastasia, and I am so excited. It is so long. It is 800 pages is so long. I started this morning. I'm currently like 11% in. It is gorgeous writing. It is going super well so far. It starts off with her as like a child, and I'm very much into the world, but I'm also like, oh my god, 800 pages, like, oh, wow. But so far there's like been a little bit of the magic system. I don't know too much more that I can tell you as of now, since I am so very little into it. But the beginning of the book starts up with her as a child, and you're watching her like age up through the years until like the actual events really do start. But so far what I can tell you is that Anastasia's magic, the Romanov magic, like the one that is passed down through like the rulers, like not all the children get it, but like the rulers get it, is time magic, the ability to stop and like freeze time. And Anastasia also, out of all the Romanov children, she is the one who has that magic. And I always find that time magic is really interesting, so I can't wait to kind of see where this goes and continues. So yeah, that's my little introduction. I've got a bunch of errands I have to run. It's like 3 o'clock, but I've got like a lot of things to do today, and yeah, that's gonna be it for now, and I'll catch you guys up as I continue reading. Okay, bye. Hello everyone. So I'm coming on because I just finished filming a bunch of pre-filmed content for the month of December and a little bit of January. I'm currently 35-40% into Anastasia, so I want to do a little bit of an update. It is very, very slow moving, and it is very, very much a historical fantasy. The historical aspect of this, of it being Anastasia and set in Russia and all the Russian politics and Russian history and all the like accuracies to do with Russian history are like in this. I don't love historical fantasies. Like, they're not like my typical favorite. I am still really enjoying this as like a fantasy book overall and the characters, but I am getting a little bit bogged down with some of the world building that is going on. But that's just a me thing. That's just a personal preference of someone who doesn't love historical fantasies that super focus in on the historical aspect and focus in on like a lot of the technicalities. But when it comes to the characters and the relationship between Anastasia and Damien, I'm so excited to see where it keeps on going. I'm really curious about their magic, because we just learned that Damien's magic is like his hands, like he wears gloves all the time because his touch kills, and I love that kind of trope. I love like that kind of magic is one of my favorites. And she, you know, still hasn't like really figured out what her magic is, but she's still learning from Rasputin, and kind of her relationship with Rasputin is still something that I'm kind of figuring out a little bit. And so I'm very curious to kind of see where things are going to kind of continue to keep on going. And yeah, that's my current little update for where I'm at with Anastasia. But yes, oh my gosh, it's 1:20 in the morning and I have to be up at 5:30 in the morning for Christmas con, so I'm gonna go. But hope you enjoyed this little update and I'll catch you guys up later. Goodbye. Hello. Okay, so I am currently in Vegas. This vlog, you guys have no idea. This vlog has been going on for so long. It is actually ridiculous. It took me like 2 weeks to read Anastasia. But that being said, I did get my nails done yesterday and I want to show you guys them. Look how pretty they are. They're my like festive-y kind of nails for this season. So yeah, I finished Anastasia on the airplane yesterday as I was flying from New York to Vegas. And so it's like a 5-hour flight. So I finished like, the last, I think I was at the 40% mark. So I finished the last 60% over those 5 hours. Now, I absolutely just want to start off by saying that I adored the last 40% of Anastasia. Like, I freaking loved the shit out of it. Like, from the time, and this is like not spoilery, but when it comes like from the second that the Romanov like massacre basically happens onwards, which is a little depressing to say, but from the Romanov massacre onwards, it is so fast paced. There is so much going on. It is so interesting and really cool. And then there's like this final plot twist and like the last like 10% that I was like, oh, what? And like my brain just like exploded, and I was on the airplane. I was like, oh my God. And it was great. It was absolutely great. The problem is the fact that you have to get to like the 60-70% mark for all of that to happen. And so this is like an 850-page book, and so you're basically reading like almost like 500 pages of historical reimagining to get to that point. And like in the sense of it being super rooted in actual history and including a lot of just the politics of this world and the politics of Russia back in the day and everything that happened with the Romanovs, and kind of painting you this gigantic picture of their life. And I wasn't that into it. I loved the last 40%, but I didn't love the first 60%. So what do you rate a book like that? Especially as someone who has read fantasy for years, who knows what they like in fantasy books, who knows what they enjoy in adult fantasy, new adult fantasy, YA fantasy, fantasies that are fantasy romances, fantasies that are just high fantasy, fantasies that are historical. Like, I've read everything under the sun, and I think that if you're someone who's new to my channel and doesn't know that, like, fun fact, when I started my YouTube channel, and since I was a kid, I am primarily like a fantasy reader. I just don't read as much of it nowadays because of the fact that I know what I like, and I don't like to waste my time on things that I don't think I'm going to enjoy in the fantasy world, because I know what I do enjoy. And to be quite honest, I don't know if I would have pushed through this book as much as I would have had it not have been one of Sophie Lark's books, and as an author that I really do adore. And so I think that that's also a thing that I do want to say is this book at its core is a historical fantasy that is really entrenched and focused on the world building and the soul kind of development of the Romanov family overall. And then you're kind of just seeing everything through Anastasia's eyes of the world in general. And so you have to be a fantasy reader who really enjoys historical settings and like historical background and learning about that, but also someone who enjoys kind of an overall building of a world and overall broad character development of all the characters, versus focusing kind of on a character-driven hero story or a plot that focuses primarily on romance. Because in my opinion, this is a slow burn romance, but it's slow burn in the fact of the romance, in my opinion, being a subplot, but like not even like it's like a subplot, like nothing, like there's romantic inklings when you see Damien and Anastasia throughout the book, but it's not until like the 70%, 80% mark that you actually see them like on page and doing a lot of things together, and then romance doesn't really develop until like the 80% mark. I would also say that on a spice rating, this is like a 1 out of 5, which is probably really shocking to a lot of people, because there is on-page sex, there is on-page oral, there's on-page everything, but it's descriptive in the sense of, if you've read actually ᴛɪᴛᴏᴜ, the sex scenes in this read a lot like ᴛɪᴛᴏᴜ's Married to Magic series, is like the best way that I can explain it. So that's the thing, is I think I went into this, I think, expecting it to be more of a fantasy romance, and that's not what I got. And I think that's kind of, I think if I'd gone into this knowing that it was a historical fantasy, and even the fantasy elements of this are pretty low stakes compared to other fantasy books. Don't know if I actually want to rate this book, because I am actually not someone who likes to read historical fantasies. That's never been something that I have really ever enjoyed, and it's very rare that I read a historical fantasy that I give a really high rating. I think the only time I've read one that has really worked for me was ᴛᴏᴜᴜᴜ series as a historical fantasy, because the historical aspect isn't large in it, and then Emily Wenzel's books as well, which funnily enough, those are actually Anastasia retellings, but they're super loose, and even the Russian aspect of those is super loose, like it's more so an actual fantasy world. And so that's when it works more so for me, and I just think that that's kind of this is I'm really struggling, and I feel like yeah, that's kind of where I'm gonna leave it. Like I said, the final plot twist was like one of the best that I've, like, I was genuinely so shocked by that. So like, and I always say that as like a book always gets an extra like plus when it manages to genuinely shock me. So I do want to point that out. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on Anastasia, and I think that it's a lot different than I had been expecting. I think I had expected this to be a little bit more romantic of a book and a little bit more high fantasy than it had been. Because I don't know, I really thought this was going to be more of a high fantasy book, and it's much more of a low, and it's just more of a historical based fantasy. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Anastasia. I know it's a lot different. I do actually own the physical copy. I didn't bring it with me to Vegas because it weighs so much. I wasn't going to bring it, but it's super floppy. So I would say that like you could also definitely pick this up physically, because it's a super floppy book, which is like A+. That being said, after I finished that, I was like, I do not want to read anything that is fantasy right now. I need something very different. As a result, I decided to pick up ᴛɪδᴛᴏධ by Lee Jacquot. This is a dark mafia romance that is inspired by DC villains, which I've been really excited to read because I love Lee Jacquot's writing, and so I started that on the airplane. I'm now 30% in, I've read it today, and it is so much fun. It is so good. I am loving it to the max, and it's a very different mafia romance than other mafia romances that I have read. And I think also part of that is because I am kind of like, I do have a bit of that DC mindset when it comes to it. So in *µᴂɪᴛᴜ, you're following Sabrina and ᴛɪ̑ᴛ. ᴛɪ̑ᴛ is the lawyer to the mafia don Alexei. And then you've got Sabrina Arcadi, and she is one of, there are 3 Arcadi brothers who are all 3 different mafia dons. And she is the daughter of the youngest brother of the mafia dons and the only daughter. And she, you know, never thought that she would ever be married off because she's the youngest daughter. Like everyone else is getting married off before her. By the time it really came for her to be of age, it was kind of like, well, there's not really any other connections we need to make because we're so high and mighty. Like, you're going to get off scot-free. Except for the fact that Alexei has to get married to one of the daughters, and that daughter ends up being a complete bitch to him, that he's like, I don't want her to be the one that I get married to. Like, I want someone who's a lot more docile. ᴛɪ̑ᴛ, the lawyer, ends up being sent to go basically collect Sabrina instead as the last eligible daughter to be married off to Alexei. Alexei doesn't really want to get married. We don't really know what his deal is, but he kind of seems like he's trying to find a way to get out of actually having the arranged marriage. So he's kind of being a dick to Sabrina, and Sabrina obviously doesn't want to marry him because she never wanted to. She was like, she's a art student and like does pottery, and that's like where her passion lies, and so she doesn't want to get married to him. And then you've got ᴛɪ̑ᴛ, who is kind of being blackmailed to be the lawyer for Alexei because he murdered people a couple of years ago, and so he's kind of falling for Sabrina like instantly, and Sabrina's falling for him, but they obviously can't be together because, you know, she's supposed to get married to his boss, and so it's their romance. I'm loving it so much. And ᴛɪ̑ᴛ is based off the DC film The Two-Face is what he's based off, and it's really interesting because he's so nice and sweet to her, but then obviously, like, you know, he did murder 2 people. So I'm loving it so much. It's been a while also since I've read a mafia romance. I did read one for my Christmas smut vlog, which was only like a very, very short one, and it's really nice to get back into the mafia world because it used to be like my bread and butter. Like whenever I was in a reading slump, I turned to mafia romances, and nowadays I tend to like, I make a verse and reverse harems, but it's really nice to get back into the mafia world and kind of get that kind of dark romance vibe, but on a bit more of a low stakes situation, because all the dark romances that I have been reading have been like seriously like dark romances. So this is kind of nice to be reading, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I would definitely recommend it so far if you are looking for a new mafia romance that kind of is a bit fresh and unique in a sense, because that's kind of what I'm getting from it. Yeah, I'm gonna go continue doing that. I've got a lot of things to do, and yes, welcome to the rest of the vlog. Catch you guys up later. Bye bye. I always feel like everyone can hear me when I'm at home vlogging, even though I know that they probably can't. I feel like they all can. And it makes me very self-conscious when I want to sit here and talk about the sexy scenes. Anyway, first off, let me show you guys Zelda. She's sleeping over there. But for the sexy scene that I'm just reading, so obviously, finally, stuff is happening between the two of them, and it was so good. So she makes pottery, and so he gets like a whole like pottery thing made for her, and so she's there making her pottery, and while she's making her pottery, he sits behind her and starts touching her while she's touching it, and it was such a good scene. But he uses the coin to make all of his decisions, and while they're doing the sexy times, he uses the coins to make the decisions of whether or not she gets to make it to the finish line. You know what I'm saying? If you get what I'm feeling. And it was so good. I am loving it so much. I'm also like hella terrified because like I don't know where this is gonna like end, because like they're forbidden AF, and so like but it's so good, and like they're so meant to be, and it's so cute, especially because like when one of the chapter ends, he's like, oh my god, like I'm so like screwed, like I'm falling for her, and then his chapter ends, and then her chapter starts, and her chapter starts, oh my god, I'm falling for him, I'm so screwed. And I was like, ah! I'm dying, that's so cute. I'm so living for this. It's been so good. So I plan on finishing it tonight. I have like an hour and a half left of the book, and yes, okay. I got new hair and we love it. so much. Look how cute they are, the little baby curtain bangs. And they're like actually I was really afraid when she first cut them, they were not sitting because like my hair doesn't actually like to part in the middle. It likes to part like just around here. So initially it wasn't working and I was like, oh my God, I made a bad decision, but I did not. Because they look so cute and I'm so here with everything. It is just adorable. Also, I got this new top that's like a Tasmania top and it's really cool. Anyway, coming on because I was the hairdressers the other day. Well, oh shit, I didn't even tell you. What did I finish? Finished a book. Didn't I finish a book? I haven't told you guys. Chances. I finished Chances. Really loved it. The ending, not at all what I was expecting. Like, at all. Like, it's an HEA for the couple, but like, is the book an HEA? Kind of. Did not end the way that I like, not that I wanted to. It didn't end the way that I expected it to. It was really cool. Like, I really enjoyed it and it definitely has that like Gotham City, like, DC vibes. I loved it. It was so like a very, very solid like 4.5 stars. Really great mafia romance, very unique. The smut in it is A+. Great like BDSM, praise, subdom kind of stuff going on there, especially someone who has not previously been introduced to like a subdom or like impact play relationship was really interesting as well. I like the way that it was kind of taught to her and like, you know, they had like their safe words as well, which I weirdly enough, there are quite a few books that you can kind of come across that have these relationships that don't actually have like safe words and things like that. I was really glad this one did have it, so that also got like a check mark from me. But I'm so excited to continue on with this. I can't believe I have to wait like ages until it, but like it's fine, whatever. And then after that, I started Lovelight Farms by BK Borison, and I don't really know what I was expecting going into this. I knew that it was friends to lovers, fake dating, and I was kind of scared. But oh my God, this is like one of the best friends to lovers books that I have read in ages. Now, I am a little sad that it is only single POV. You only get the girls, like Lala's POV, and you don't get Luca's. It's fine. I wish that you did get his because you could tell right off the bat that he has also been in love with her for the past 10 years. And it was so cute. Oh my God, I'm loving it so much. It's like, obviously it's hot as well. Like the sexual tension between the two of them, oh my God, like things are happening. I'm like, oh my God. And it's so funny because when they start fake dating, she's like, but what are we gonna do when it ends? Like we've told everyone that we're dating now and everyone's been like apparently waiting for us to date for years. He's like, we'll deal with it when it comes to it. Like she's like, what do you mean we'll deal with it when it comes to it? It's like, it's fine, we'll deal with it later. We'll deal with it later. And I'm like, because you don't want it to end. It's been so good. I'm like, I don't actually know how far through it because I was reading it yesterday while I was getting my hair done, but then I had to stop because it gets kind of awkward when you're trying to read like a sexy scene and there's someone like directly over your shoulder doing your hair, so I had to pause. But I literally just highlighted this line right now that says, I've been thinking about kissing you all week, and she in her head's like, that's nice. I've been thinking about kissing him since I was 23. It's so good. I'm having so much fun. The only thing that I am a bit surprised about with it is the fact that it actually starts off around just before Halloween, and I thought this was like a primarily Christmas book, and we've just now gotten to December and like the weeks leading up to Christmas. We just had Thanksgiving and we're like 50% through the book. So that's the only thing that did surprise me, was that I thought this was like only gonna take place with like Christmas time. So that's not it. But if you didn't know what this is about, you have Luca and Lala. What's Lala's actual full name? That's his nickname for her, and so I can't actually remember what her full name is. But she runs a Christmas tree farm with her two friends, Beckett and Layla. Now, Layla does all of the like goodies and the house, like, and looking after things, and Beckett is the farmer, the really hot farmer. He gives me It Happened One Summer vibes, 100%. I can't wait for his book. I'm going to literally gag. But we've got Lala who's running it, and it's obviously, you know, not doing well. It's about to like descend into like bankruptcy, and she applies to basically this competition, this like TikTok influencer like thing, and she wins it. Well, she doesn't win it. She wins the chance to win like this massive grand prize. The only problem is that when she entered the competition, she said that she owned the farm with her boyfriend, and she doesn't have a boyfriend. So she ends up asking her best guy friend to be her fake boyfriend for the week for when the influencer is there, so that she doesn't have to like be like, oh, I lied on my application. And so her best friend is now her fake boyfriend, and the two of them are so cute. They are like absolute, like, I'm so dying over them. And Luca, you can definitely tell like he has been like crushing on her for ages, and they're just the absolute cutest together. And like my favorite thing is like he comes like while they're fake tanning, he like comes back one night and like he arrives like really early in the morning and he's like, hey, like I'm here, I just wanted to say hi. And she's like, oh, like come into bed. And he's like, no, I'll go sit on the couch. She's like, just come into bed. And they get into bed together and it was just and he's Italian too, and I'm very like iffy when characters are Italian in books, just because like, I mean, I am Italian, and so I'm always like an eagle eye. I'm always like second guessing. I'm like, is this accurate? Is this like how I kind of vibe with it? And this is very well done. This is 100% A+ vibes. I love it so freaking much. It's been very, very good. Oh, it's so cute. I feel like everyone has read Lovelight Farms as like their Christmas books. I was worried it was going to be overhyped, but it is not. Now, is it my favorite book that I've ever read? No, but it is at least, at the very, very damn least, going to be a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm only 50% through. This last 48%, I can't do math, could not hit the part, and this could be a 5-star read. We don't know. Things can always change, but I'm so excited. So, catch you guys up once I'm done. Okay. Okay, so I finished the book. I'm also very, very tired right now. I loved it. It was amazing. The only thing is that I didn't like the third act breakup at all. Like it was so frustrating and was like such miscommunication, and it was just very annoying. And so because I didn't like the third act breakup whatsoever, I'm gonna dock it a little bit just because it just really didn't work for me. So I think it's a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was so close to being a full 5. It was so cute and they were so adorable together, and I lived for them so freaking much. Okay, like AA++++++. Okay, this is probably one of my favorite friends to lovers romances that I have ever read, hands down. And I'm very, very picky when it comes to friends to lovers romances, just because I find that like I never fully believe them, and this one was so cute because you definitely knew that they both were like so in love with one another. It was just quite frustrating because she just never thought it would ever be possible that he had been feeling the same way over the last couple of years as well, even though it was so obvious. Oh my god. And also, I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't read this, but if you have read this, the alpaca farm whole plot. I did not expect that at all. That was the funniest shit in the entire world. A+ if you're worried or you've been thinking about reading it and weren't really sure, go do it. This is your sign. And yeah, I'm gonna end this vlog here. I'm actually about to edit this vlog as well for tomorrow. You guys are currently propped up on my bed because there is no lighting at this time of night in my house. And the lighting honestly really sucks in this place too. So, you know, hopefully this clip doesn't look like shit. But you know, we'll see. Zelda has the zoomies. She's been having zoomies ever since. Anyway, I'm gonna go now so I can get this all done and don't have to stay up until really early in the morning to do it. And yeah, I'm so excited to start my next vlog tomorrow. Oh my god, I'm so excited with the books I'm reading in my next vlog. Just you guys wait. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know down below if you want to see more of me. Please check out my channel and don't forget to check me out over on Instagram and TikTok. And until next time, thanks so much everyone. Bye.